Hello everyone, my name is Brennon Graham and I'm the President and CEO for Growing Home Southeast. This month, in recognition of Black History Month, for our children's series we'll read the book, No Fear for Freedom, The Story of the Friendship Nine, written by Dr. Kimberly P. Johnson. Now this book is a very special book because it tells the story of young college students from Friendship Junior College in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and how they not only made Black history, they made American history. In 1961, our country was still very segregated. There were laws in place that prohibited Black people from eating in or using facilities that were deemed white only. But these courageous young men walked into the McCroy's 5 and Dine in Rock Hill, sat down at a lunch counter knowing that they would be arrested, and ordered a meal. Right after they made their order, they were pulled from their chairs and arrested. The next day, they were given the option of paying a fine or spending 30 days hard labor in jail. They chose jail. This sparked a nationwide movement, Jail No Bail, as a strong protest against the injustice of that time. I mentioned earlier that this book is very special. Not only is it special because of its American history, but my uncle, Clarence Graham, was a member of the Friendship Nine. And so today, I proudly read this book to share Black history, American history, and my family's history. No Fear for Freedom, The Story of the Friendship Nine, written by Kimberly P. Johnson, illustrated by Vanessa J. Thompson. Justice is for all. We must never forget that fact. But freedom for all was part of the Civil Rights Act. From being called colored to Negro and then called Black, African Americans must remember to look back. Years before equality or before desegregation became the law, there were many things going on that many people never saw. In Rock Hill, South Carolina, at a counter one day, some brave young men were told to go away. In the state, there were laws that said no blacks allowed, but the men loved their skin color. In fact, they were proud. Though the way of living then kept Black people from the white, the 10 educated young men refused to ever start a fight. When the demonstrators walked in, they entered with peace, but emotions were high and there were a lot of police. As soon as they sat down to order something to eat, the police grabbed each one and pulled them from their seat. The police locked them up and suggested they pay the bail, but the young men just sat there waiting in the jail. The young men were nervous and somewhat scared, but they had learned to be tough, and they were prepared. Outside of the restaurant, people continued to carry signs. They were tired of being arrested and tired of paying fines. The very next morning, the young men were taken into court. Their lawyers were determined to offer plenty of support. The dynamic lawyers spoke of the injustice and the shame. They reminded the courtroom that equal means the same. Refusing to pay the fine meant these young men had taken a stand against the cruel and unfair treatments which had gotten out of hand. When they were carried off to prison, they chose not to complain. The men knew what they were doing. They were working on a freedom campaign. The men reached the prison, a cruel and violent place, but the look or thought of fear didn't appear on their face. It's hard to imagine the stress they were feeling, because we know that prison could not be appealing. During this time of injustice, everyone wasn't nice. And in order to have freedom, going to prison was the price. Shoveling dirt from place to place and the threat of being beat, tired bodies, worn out hands, standing for hours on their feet. Inside their open bay cell, the walls and the floors were cold. The men knew the way to survive was to do what they were told. These men felt sad. Their time in prison seemed too long. They wanted their freedom. They had done nothing wrong. One of the young protesters left the prison in just a few days, but he continued to help out in so many other ways. For the determined protesters, prison shamed them beyond belief, and counting down the days offered very little relief. The hopeful young men helped the movement take a turn. More people began to sit in jail, and more people showed concern. The people around the country began to spread the word. They're called the Friendship Nine. Have any of you heard? People everywhere continued to raise their voice. Just like the Friendship Nine, freedom was their choice. The choice to walk along the street or shop at any stores. The choice to travel anywhere and enter through front doors. The Friendship Nine believed that if they took a bolder stand, more people would be eager to lend a helping hand. This unselfish group of young men planted a seed in the hearts of many, and the joy of bringing people together didn't cost them one penny. The Friendship Nine didn't just react, nor did they want the glory. Their mission was to represent everybody's story. Robert, John, Clarence, and Dub Willie, James, David, and Mac, students from Friendship Junior College who knew the importance of giving back. Along with Thomas, who was a freedom fighter too, this positive group of leaders knew exactly what to do. The Friendship Nine are a part of our history today, and their brave and unselfish actions helped pave the way. Now it's our turn to keep the freedom going by planting seeds of greatness and help the seeds keep growing. Rock Hill became a better place, and the city has learned to forgive. They are building a stronger community where everyone can live. As our country continues to learn how to respect, love, and share, we must also know that the work of others keeps our country fair. When we all come together to put our differences aside, there will be no room for racism, if that's what we decide. The journey continues.